Fatal Influence make their presence known on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton wins the Women's United States Championship, and Jacob Fatu gets his backlash match against Roman Reigns. All this and more in this episode of This Week in WWE, What Mattered. Jacob Fatu said that Roman Reigns was right when he said that he wasn't ready for a world title opportunity because he's never been ready and people have been telling him this his whole life. He addressed Roman directly via the camera and said, "If you don't think I'm ready, then step into this ring and prove it." The Usos then confronted Jacob, discouraging him from going after Roman Reigns and saying that he can get everything he wants by just going after Cody Rhodes instead. Solo Sikoa then told Jacob not to listen to the Usos and that if he wants to beat Roman Reigns, he's going to need an army just like the one that he has. Tama Tonga then questioned why the MFTs were even out there in the first place, as Jacob can't even beat Solo, let alone Roman Reigns, which led to a match being made official for later in the night between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. So this was clearly an all-out family affair, and this is the first time we've seen such a large scale of interaction between Bloodline members in a long time. Tiffany Stratton is the brand new Women's United States Champion after overcoming Julia and her sidekick Kiana James. I'm personally really happy with this because Julia has now had 2 runs with that Women's United States title, neither of which have been very memorable. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that's her fault. She is fantastic in the ring, it just seems like WWE doesn't have a clue how to book her. She's a great worker and she's got a great look, but for whatever reason she just isn't connecting with audiences right now. And I'm a prime example of that, of someone that doesn't watch NXT. I've heard how promising she is and how good she's supposed to be, and I've been impressed by her work in the ring, but apart from that, there's nothing about Julia at the moment that blows me away. Paige and Brie Bella shared a moment with the WWE Universe after becoming the brand new Women's Tag Team Champions at WrestleMania, with Paige proclaiming that SmackDown is her house. They were then challenged by Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, but the match was quickly thrown out as all competitors were attacked by Fatal Influence, who have been running roughshod over NXT for a while now. This stable is comprised of JC Jane, Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed, and this is personally my first exposure to these women, again as somebody who doesn't watch NXT, and I was quite impressed with their debut, and I'm hoping that the addition of these women to the tag team division is going to enable some established stars like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss to get put back into the singles division so we can give some more love there. Rhea Ripley is going to need some big opponents now as she's WWE Women's Champion, so she isn't feuding with the same old people that Jade Cargill was in that really stale title reign, and the Women's United States Championship division really needs some attention as well. New WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley made it very clear she is going to be a fighting champion and invited anyone in the back to come out and take a shot. This led to Fatal Influence making their presence known again, confronting Rhea directly in the ring and getting massive heat whilst doing so. This led to General Manager Nick Aldis making a match between Rhea Ripley and JC Jane, and the two were having a really good match before it ended in disqualification as Fallon and Lainey attacked Rhea, with all 3 women leaving her laying in the middle of the ring. I have to say I'm very impressed with the amount of heat that these women have managed to generate in their very first night on SmackDown, so hopefully they go on to play a really important role on the show. Jacob Fatu then took on Solo Sikoa in the main event of the show, where he was obviously outnumbered by the MFTs. The Usos stepped onto the entrance ramp to offer their support, but Jacob told them to go away because he wanted to do this alone. He was able to get the win by himself, but inevitably he was jumped by the MFTs after the bell. However, just as the Usos were going to make the save, Jacob fought them all off by himself, looking incredibly strong, smashing them with steel chair shots and putting Tonga Loa through the announce table. This was a really good way to continue to build more tension between Jacob Fatu and the Bloodline, as well as making Jacob look like a really credible threat for Roman Reigns. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please do consider subscribing to the channel or doing anything that you can to support me, whether that's joining in the conversation in the comment section down below, liking this video, or checking out some of my other content where I've got replica belt review videos, which I'm going to be posting once every month. That series is going to go on for over a year. In the near future, I'm going to be posting some pro wrestling quiz videos as well, which I know you guys are going to love. And I've got some really cool other one-off ad hoc videos as well. So please do head over to my channel and check out my other stuff. Seth freaking Rollins opened Monday Night Raw by saying that there is a reason that I lost to Gunther at WrestleMania and that Roman Reigns is walking around with my World Heavyweight Championship, and that reason is Braun Breaker. There was then a really good back and forth between Seth and Braun, where Seth simply asked him why he did what he did, and Braun said that he didn't need Seth, he needed Paul Heyman. Seth told Braun that he wasn't ready, but Braun retorted with, "You are the very best professional wrestler in the world at being number 2. With Seth ultimately offering Braun an opportunity to prove that he is ready by facing him at Backlash, which is a match that now has been made official. The Judgment Day attacked Stephanie Vaquer backstage at the behest of Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, and we have since heard that Stephanie is legitimately injured. I'm not sure if it's from this or whether she's been carrying an injury for a little while now, but she is going to be out, unfortunately, for an undisclosed period of time. Becky Lynch issued an open challenge for anyone that wanted an opportunity at her Women's Intercontinental Championship, which was promptly taken up by none other than Io Sky. The match went ahead despite Becky trying to weasel her way out of it, insulting Io, referring to her as Marty Jannetty, with Rhea Ripley being Shawn Michaels. Becky did retain her title with a little help from Io's long-time rival Asuka, who got involved to attack Io whilst the referee was checking on Becky. And Asuka then locked in the Asuka lock on Io after the match until she passed out in the middle of the ring, screaming at her, and it has also now been made official that we will see Asuka taking on Io Sky at Backlash. It's also notable to say that during this the crowd were chanting "We want Kyrie." I have explained in my video where I covered all of the recent WWE releases that I was quite surprised that they got rid of Kyrie Sane, especially considering she's right in the middle of this ongoing storyline. But I don't think it's going to lead to anything. The crowds are soon going to stop chanting for Kyrie, unfortunately, and we're just going to move on. We said his name and he appeared. Joe Hendry was on Monday Night Raw to perform a special concert where he announced that he is now officially part of the Monday Night Raw roster. And he also called for Adam Pearce to fire Logan Paul. This was a funny segment that caused Logan Paul and Austin Theory to attack Joe Hendry, who was saved by the Street Profits, who have made their intentions clear that they are coming after the World Tag Team Championship. After squashing at Grayson Waller, the ruler Obafemi said that he agreed with Grayson's sentiment about there being a lack of opportunity, and as such he has now announced the Obafemi Open Challenge, where every single week he is going to face anyone that is brave enough to step up to him. I think this is a really good way of keeping him looking both strong and keeping him busy for a while. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but I'm assuming that he's going to win King of the Ring and go on to challenge Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship, where he may even win because this guy is ready, and I really think WWE should think about strapping the rocket to this guy. But by having an open challenge like this, it's going to make other people look strong because they're going to be brave enough to step up to Obafemi. It's also going to show how versatile he is, as he's going to be able to have matches against all these people that we're not even sure who they are until they appear on the night. So it keeps Oba looking strong, keeps him busy, at least until the King of the Ring tournament comes along. Liv Morgan then apologised to Roxanne Perez for having to watch from home as they kicked Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day, but explained that it had to be done because he turned his back on the family. Finn later appeared to warn Roxanne that she cannot trust the Judgment Day. She did tell him to leave, but she was clearly conflicted. The OTC Roman Reigns then had a segment in the ring to close the show, where he effectively buried the history of the current World Heavyweight Championship, as he said that they created this title in spite of him. He brought it to the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, and he has made it relevant. I'm a little bit conflicted as to them doing this on WWE television, because I know the sentiment at the time the world title was introduced was that it was just a secondary belt. They've literally just created this thing because nobody can beat Roman Reigns. And whilst that might be true in a kayfabe point of view, the championship has had a really good history with legitimate, strong champions. For me, there hasn't been one bad world championship reign yet. Of course, some are better than others. Seth Rollins did a fantastic job. Damian Priest's reign was okay, but it wasn't terrible. We've had Gunther hold it, we've had CM Punk hold it, Jey Uso held it, which has probably got to be the weakest reign. But overall, to me, this looks like and feels like a legitimate world championship. And our Roman has basically come in and said, yeah, this thing was a heap of crap until I've picked it up, and now it's worth something, and now it's relevant. Which is totally in character for Roman, which is why I'm not totally opposed to them doing it, but it does just feel like they're completely burying all the world champions before him. Despite Roman hoping that Jacob would want to unite the family as opposed to dividing it, Jacob Fatu made it very clear that he needs the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman told Jacob that he is not ready and that giving him a world championship opportunity would be pure nepotism, at which point Jacob got extremely angry and attacked Roman with a Tongan death grip, leaving him lying on the floor, spluttering, coughing, and forcing Roman to accept his challenge at Backlash. So it is now official, we are going to see the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu challenge Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship on May 9th at Backlash. I've really enjoyed the build to this match at Backlash, I have to say. I'm glad that Roman is kind of returning to a storyline surrounded by the bloodline, at least in the short term, not necessarily the long term. I think we've all been waiting for Jacob to step up to Roman Reigns for a while now, and now that Roman is world champion again, there's no better time for him to do that, and they really have made him seem like and feel like a credible threat, which is really challenging, right? Especially straight after WrestleMania and there's a new champion, you're going into Backlash and the first title defense. It's very rare the champion loses, and let's be honest, none of us think Jacob is going to win at Backlash, but that doesn't matter to me because this build has been really good and they've built him up to be a credible threat. So I'm looking forward to the match between the two. I'm glad they've started planting the seeds as well for a Roxanne Perez babyface turn. I think that's something we're all looking forward to. I think she's had enough time now on the main roster as part of the Judgment Day that she's ready to come out of that group and become a star on her own and be challenging and winning Women's World Championships. I think it would be great if Roxanne beats Liv Morgan for the Women's World title at some point down the line. We might even get maybe a mixed tag match as well, where we could see babyface team of Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez taking on JD McDonough and Liv Morgan. I think I'm personally ready for the Judgment Day to be over soon. This faction has been going on now for quite a few years. It's had a lot of different iterations to the point where now there are no founding members left. And I think it's largely done its job. So I think we really want to see the absolute implosion of Judgment Day in the near future with a big blow-off feud between Liv and Roxanne. That'll do it for today's video. As usual, I'll be back next week for another episode of This Week in WWE What Mattered. But my next video is actually going to be posted this Saturday, which is going to be my full predictions for WWE Backlash 2026. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. Thank you once again, and until next time, see you later.